I feel compelled and obligated to inform viewers that today's review is being done under protest. I don't know what I'm protesting. We'll make something up later, I guess, I suppose. Sounded cool on paper. Okay, maybe not, but I'm trying to put off as, well, whatever. Let's just get this over with so we can move on to the next thing, which is almost as bad, but... So after arcade hit Renegade became a hit on the home computer front, someone in the United Kingdom had the bright idea to make a sequel to this thing. But rather than convert any of the other Kunio-kun games that would come along, since that would make sense, those wacky Brits decided to make their own sequel, and the end result is Target Renegade. Released in 1988 for various home computer formats and eventually released in 1990 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, courtesy of Taito and Software Creations. Developers of such classics such as Spider-Man and X-Men and Arcade's Revenge, Maximum Carnage, Wolverine on NES, and the portable 8-bit versions of Mortal Kombat 3. Yep. So Target Renegade places you in control of Renegade. No, that's his actual name this time around. It's a step above Mr. K, at least, although judging by the way he's dressed, you may as well call him Bimmy. Anyway, Bimby is a man out for revenge against the nefarious Mr. Big after he either beat up, murdered, kidnapped, violated, anal probed, or deep-fried your brother Matt. The story changes with each version. I do not care enough to look up which is which. Anyway, you're going through 5 stages of beating up random bad guys who will run up to you, and you have to kill them before your health runs out. For you see, Renegade's health is slowly ebbing away as you're fighting off your very visible foes, while an invisible foe is taking pot shots at you, and you know this because every so often, a hit sound will play and you lose a bit of health. Because those English twats who made this game hate your guts and want to see you suffer. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, the only positive to be found with Target Renegade, at least this port anyway, is the soundtrack that Tim Follin supplied for this thing. And it's not even his best stuff that the guy has churned out, but it only goes to show the sort of luck that kind of talent had in getting stuck with the more unfortunate entries of the NES library to pull out of the fire with some quality tunes. I will bear no ill will towards Follin. Most of the stuff I heard from the guy is nothing short of excellent. So with that little exception, let's get it out there. Everything in Target Renegade is fucking awful. So yes, let's talk about the fact that our Renegade man here looks like a dead rigger for Billy Lee. You know, from that other Technos Brawler series thing. Hence why you have multi-card things that sometimes include this and dub it Double Dragon 4, which is a lie because we already have one of those. Or at least we thought we did until they eventually came out with an actual Double Dragon 4. And while that game's not great, it's at least better than Target Renegade on NES. And believe me, that is not a high bar to cross. Yes, nothing inspires confidence more than a game released for the Nintendo Entertainment Family Computer System thing telling me to press the fire button to rumble. Yeah, sure, I'll do that, as soon as I figure out which of these buttons is the fire button. Right, so let's start off with Target Renegade's control scheme, which is largely familiar Double Dragon fare. One button punches and the other kicks. And that's where the similarities end. To do a jump kick, you press up and B. Do it while moving left or right, and you do a running jump kick. Down and B does a foot sweep, which is arguably your greatest weapon in the game whenever you manage to get it to execute. You'll note that all these moves use the B button, so what can you do with button A, which punches? Well, you use weapons that you can pick up along the way, and to pick things up, you press down and A while standing over an item. It might take you a few tries because it's not quite precise. Also, you need to do this for the rare heart items that are dropped by enemies you defeat, although those go away after a few seconds, and picking things up tends to be a picky thing in this game. So I'll be nice here for a bit. Controls are spotty, not always responsive, but I wouldn't necessarily call them completely broken, just partially unreliable. With a bit of a rhythm developed, or a convenient turbo controller that might be a bigger help, you can somewhat manage to pull off the one move that gets the job done better than the rest. The hit detection also has a tendency to be somewhat spotty, and trying to pick things up is a Somewhat of a hassle because you need to be on a sweet spot in order to pick things up, which is somewhat problematic with the hard pickups. Little tweaks in these areas, tightening of controls, polishing up collision detection, and making pickups a little easier to pull off could have salvaged this thing somewhat. But the big issue I have with Target Renegade is that it's just so goddamn boring. There's 7 stages in this game, but it all amounts to beating up some mooks, moving in whatever direction the little prompt at the bottom tells you to move, and eventually fighting a boss. They might change the scenery, and they might change some of the mooks around so they look different, but it all boils down to the same tired shit and there's nothing else to it. Your moveset, if you could pull it off consistently, is bare bones and basic. There's little in terms of variety or uniqueness. There's no 2-player option, so you don't even have the benefit of sharing the misery with a friend, though that might be a blessing in disguise. And of course, you only have 1 life. And eventually you earn an extra continue after clearing level 2, but still, 2 tries at most and it's game over. And the opposition can be a bit tough at times, especially towards the end, but whether that's due to the game's challenge or its sheer commitment to absolute brain-dead monotony, I leave that open to interpretation. So visually, Target Renegade is rather uninspired, and I'm not just referring to the Billy Lee knockoff. Mr. Big apparently found a way to clone the hitman Bret Hart a bunch of times and made him act like Bill Goldberg, which explains the AI in this game. The stages are dull, boring, and generic looking. The character designs are also less than inspired. I mean, for what it's worth, it's not an ugly looking game per se, and the little intermissions between stages are nicely drawn, but Target Renegade commits the cardinal sin of reminding me of a much better game that I could be playing right about now. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the only thing that works is that Fallen Helm soundtrack, but that feels like a nice little garnish added to distract from the rubbish main course underneath. And sadly, that's my biggest takeaway with Target Renegade. Now, I can't speak for the computer versions, those apparently are quite good, I'll have to take your word for it. But this NES iteration is anything but, with some less than stellar controls, some even less than stellar collision detection, extremely monotonous gameplay, and uninspired visuals. And on top of that, Target Renegade saw release shortly after Double Dragon 2 graced the NES, which again, not such a smart move to remind me of a much better game I could be playing right about now. So while I wouldn't call Target Renegade a total dumpster fire despite my earlier claim of everything being awful, you could do far better in regards to belt scrollers on NES, and are probably better off doing so. Thank fuck they never made another Renegade on NES and kept it solely for computers, because apparently that third and final one is also the drizzling shits. You could at least try and sell a pint, for fuck's sake.